As a 1994 baby, I grew up with Adam Sandler's work, okay? My parents, oddly enough, one of the few things that they could agree on when raising me was letting me watch Adam Sandler films. And I don't regret a thing. I love that they introduced me to him quite early on. And Happy Gilmore was a routinely played movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure this is our church on Sunday. Like, weird. It's also really weird for me to say that I'm not a sports person. I have zero interest in sport. I'm happy to win gold and being a couch potato, but I am happy to watch Happy Gilmore, a movie about golf, which is like the most boring sport on the planet. No offense, but it is. So revisiting this before I watch the sequel has been wild. I'm not gonna lie. I find it really interesting. Now, as someone, like I said, who grew up with watching Adam Sandler films and seeing the types of characters he's played in his early years, realizing that, okay, this is going to sound really bad, but Happy tries his hardest, you know. If he knows he wants to something, he's going to keep trying and trying again. And when he fails, he only takes it out on knee-jerk reactions to people who kind of try and squish him down. And I think that's very interesting. Like, yeah, it's not a positive, like, you shouldn't have knee-jerk reactions to someone who's trying to bring you down. But also, like, it's very specifically aimed at this person. And majority of his anger is just at people who are like, I can see you trying, but also, like, I don't care. I'm gonna, like, keep bringing you down. So, you know, I kind of find the happiness in that somewhere along the lines. But also, as someone who has watched all of his films, I cannot remember any movies, excluding this one, where he has the mouth of a sailor. Like, I'm sorry, Adam Sandler does not look like the type of guy who would say the F-bomb, the C-bomb, or any other swear words. I'm like, I just cannot picture it. Okay? I get it, he's a man, and I get it, he's however old when he filmed this, but in my mind, I'm like, does he actually swear? Like, I need to revisit everything because I just cannot remember him swearing at all, and it just feels so odd. It really does. Ben Stiller. I'm so glad I never forgot him being in this movie. But Ben Stiller definitely needs to be villain. He does too many good guy roles or, you know, just contemporary roles where he's just floating along. But he needs to be the bad guy. Okay? We need Ben Stiller as the bad guy. It suits him. Scarily, it does, okay? Happy Gilmore gave us that, and I would like more, though I think Stiller probably won't do it at all. I didn't realize as a kid, and I find this really interesting to notice this now, but Will Sasso, one of the moving men, is in this. Will Sasso, my dude, he's been popping up randomly in my life, well, TV screen-wise, in my life for the past 31 years, okay? Like, I don't know if that's saying something, like if I'm supposed to check out more of his work, or am I just supposed to be shocked every time he appears on my screen? But sure, why not? Chubbs' arms, okay? Chubbs has the prosthetic, we know that. But as a Doctor Who fan, and as someone who watched Beyond the Blue Yonder, actually that's the wrong title, Blue Yonder, I was full on waiting for him to say, why are my arms too long? Or are my arms too long? Like, I'm waiting for a 14th Doctor or Donna moment. Are my arms too long? Like, his prosthetic arm was inhumanly long. It threw me off every time. I'm sorry. Richard Kiel. Okay, Richard Kiel, if you don't know who he is notoriously known, especially for his stature, he's notoriously known for bad guys. He's notoriously known for being the Bond villain in one of the early James Bond films, which I have no interest in. But Richard Kiel playing a semi-good guy? I'm sorry, but like, oh my god, thank you. Okay, so Christopher McDonald, we all know, if you don't know already, he originally did not want to sign on this film because he was like, I'm sick of being the bad guy. Everyone has me being the bad guy. I don't want to do this. I straight up refuse. He ended up having a chat with Adam Sandler, ended up reading the script and going, let's sign me up. But either I'm the only one who thinks this, but Christopher McDonald Why is it every time I see him, I picture him as Clayton from Tarzan? Like, I just cannot unsee it. And he's never been in Tarzan movies, which kind of sucks because he would be the perfect Clayton. Look, this one still holds up. 1996, bro, I feel old. Okay, I'm 31. This movie's turning 30, or at least nearing 30. Oh my god, way to make me feel old. But it still holds up. Julia Bowen being in this, I did not recognize her at all. Like, I can hear her voice, but I'm like, seeing you in the 90s and seeing you on the rewatches that my siblings do with Modern Family, that is not the same woman. Okay, like the 1990s was just a decade of whatever that was fashion-wise. But her haircut and like her suit, I was like, that's not Julie. No. But I think the 2020s definitely suit her a lot more. No, I really liked this. I still like this. It's cheesy. It's pure fun. It doesn't try to be anything that it isn't. It's just a movie where it's like, sometimes the underdog can win. Plus the 90s, I think it was the 90s, was notoriously known for trying to restart sports movies because they had like a small little lull over the years. So I'm happy for that. And I'm so glad I revisited Happy Gilmore. So now it's time for me to go watch the sequel, because it has dropped within the last few hours since I was at work. But I've heard mixed opinions about it. And I know when I saw the trailer to it, I was very, that exists. Though I will admit, I'm kind of very mad that it's on Netflix because my mum was keen to see Happy Gilmore too. And she's not a streaming service user. So, anyway, time for the sequel. Okay, so after I revisited my childhood with the 1996 Happy Gilmore, let's talk about the 2025 Happy Gilmore 2, which, to be honest, was a sequel that fans kind of have been questioning about since the first one was released 20-something years ago. First things first, why did they kill off Virginia, which is Gilmore's wife? Look, I get it, there was a purpose to it, but also, why? You could have, not to sound like a heartless person, which I'm very good at, you could have done something with the grandma. Okay, it could have been like, my grandma's dead, we've lost the house, our family's now in Shitsville, and I don't know where to go from there. Like, a depressed Happy mourning his grandma would have made a lot more sense than a depressed Happy who accidentally kills his wife. Yeah, no. The kids annoyed me. The sons are essentially just Happy 2.0, and he has a daughter, because of course he does, which is his own daughter, which is Adam Sandler's own daughter, which is great, no judgment there. But I got really annoyed very quickly about the children dynamic, purely because the children, like I said, are Happy 2.0. There's nothing there. You're just essentially watching these kids try to be Adam Sandler, and it feels very awkward. Of course, with Adam Sandler's own daughter, she plays Vienna, and Vienna is a ballerina wanting to, like, hit the high leagues. She's the only one that has character growth, or attempts to have character growth. Cool. None. The cameos. Okay, so we've got Bad Bunny, we've got Travis Kelce, we've got Post Malone, just to mention the key ones. Why? Those three characters had very little purpose in them. I don't get why you needed them. There was one cameo that I did love, which surprisingly blew my mind, and I think because I didn't know about this one, and that was Eminem. Okay, I get Eminem doesn't really do movies. Like, he'll pop up randomly, and you're like, cool. But I liked him in this. And the fact that he's playing a legacy character, the connection to a legacy character, okay, I like this. I liked Eminem's thing. It was comedic. It was a callback to Eminem. It was a callback to the original character, the one that was like trying to sabotage Happy in the first movie. I loved that. Steve Buscemi cameos. Oh my god, my baby. Sorry, I'm a Buscemi fan. So like, no judgment, but I love that little callback. Ben Stiller is back, which is great. Christopher McDonald is back. You've got most of the characters relating to the first movie in one way or another, whether it be the actors reprising their role from the ones who were the MCs, the radio host, to the ones who were just like quick little cameos in the first movie. For those who have passed away over the years, they have legacy characters, which is essentially just their sons, but not played by the actors' real-life children, just by children who fit the persona of these characters, which was a nice little touch. So that was kind of cool. But like Travis Kelce, Bad Bunny, Post Malone, they weren't needed. They really were not needed. Okay, they had no purpose. Oh, John Lovitz. Oh my god, his little cameo. Oh! So I feel like I haven't seen John Lovitz on my screen in forever. So I feel like this was a nod to a lot of SNL actors that Adam Sandler worked with in his early days. Speaking of SNL, we've got Marcelo Hernandez, who plays Bad Bunny's cousin in this. I loved his character. Hernandez is pretty much the comic relief, and I hope he goes far. Like, he was really fun to watch in this. Okay, so the movie calls back to the 1996 film a lot, which not just of the characters and their casting, which is fine-ish, but also constantly intercutting the 1996 film in order to refresh audiences' memories, which is really stupid because you could have done that with dialogue. You could have done that letting the invisible editing play at hand. You could have let audiences go, oh my god, I have to rewatch the first one in order to understand this, or oh my god, I know what this moment means because I just rewatched the first one. Like, you didn't need to intercut the first film at all. Like, it got old really quick. Though I will admit the tribute at the end, that was a nice touch, and I would keep that, but everything else can go. That's what you see, that's what she said joke that was like said 4 times in a row. Are you 12? Like, you're a grown-ass man. What the fuck? No. Just no. Podcasters, no. Why are we doing podcasters? Why are we referencing so many influencers that kind of don't need to be opinionated in television or cinema? And I get it with Adam Sandler. For me, as someone who's grown up with his films, to me, he is very careful on how he plays with pop culture relevancy. He will pick the key moments and put them in his film. But I feel like with this one, he oversold current pop culture relevancy to the point that it was like, what is your movie about? Like, are you trying to just hit the current now? Or are you trying to be you? Or are you doing this because you're like, well, maybe because this is like the trending topic? It just felt really off. And there were so many elements revolving podcasters, using the hot ones, which is Sean's, eat the chicken with spicy sauce. It just felt very flat and did not need it. Obviously, Happy's fashion's still there. The one thing that I love, and you can't see in this photo, is he still keeps the tradie shoes, you know, the beige shoes that he wears. In Australia, they're predominantly known as shoes that tradesmen wear. My brother has a pair. I have a pair, but I have a pair in black for hospitality. So I love that he's making it fashionable, because those shoes are kind of somewhat comfy, especially when you're wearing them for like 12 hours a day. To me, this whole film feels so mismatched. It feels like that every scene had a different script, and they told the editor to pick the best bits and somehow make a feature film. And it just does not work. In my eyes, this movie feels like it was trying to do a celebrity edition of Ninja Warrior or Wipeout, where it was just like, let's hype up the relevancy of trending pop culture and just keep going and not stop. When it tries to focus on Happy and focus on purely just golf, it works. But when it takes it to the futuristic elements, I guess, the technology advanced, the pullaways to podcasters, the pullaways to like some of Shooter's scenes, it doesn't feel needed. It feels so underwhelming, and it just mismatches the whole film. I got really bored really quickly, and I'm like, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. I have work at like early hours in the morning, and I need to get up at crack of dawn. So I'm going to be really exhausted. I'm blaming this movie on that, just because I wanted to watch it, but also now I regret that choice. I am disappointed. Look, we all know that Adam Sandler has had a lot of misses lately with his films, and I can excuse those. This guy's been in the industry since, what, the 90s? he's allowed to have misses, but I feel like when you've got a key character like Happy Gilmore, you're not allowed to have a miss. And this is just a miss. If he did Big Daddy, again, I would be like, this is a key character. You cannot screw this up. And I would hate if he did, because Big Daddy is another favorite of mine. If he did Little Nicky's sequel and he screwed that up, like, again, like, no. Mind you, Little Nicky would be really interesting to revisit now, I'm just saying. But no, I was not a fan of this one. I'm going to stick with the 1996 film and pretend this doesn't exist until I'm like, oh, there's a sequel? Since when? But, you know, that was my opinion, and now I'm going to bed because I should have fallen asleep halfway through this instead. Also, another thing with cameos, what worked in the 1996 film is that a lot of the cameos were kind of niche. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, unless you're a golf fan, unless you're a fan of James Bond, unless you knew specific 1990s actors, mostly from SNL, you would get it. Whereas this one is just chucking in as many cameos from whoever as possible, where it doesn't have a purpose. So it felt overwhelming and underwhelming quite at the same time. It's just, no.